the requirement of Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands Mayor and Council, and all requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken. Roll call vote. Councilmember Braswell.
Yes.
Councilmember Breon.
Here.
Councilmember Diariga.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Executive session. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975-231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is in the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss attorney-client privilege, form-based code, Sandy Hook developers tax agreement, PBA negotiations, sewer. Minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes will be made public. Now, therefore, be resolved, the mayor and council go into executive session to discuss the above item, the public is excluded from this meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, Councilmember Braswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Breon?
Yes.
Councilmember Diariga?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. The executive session resolution is passed. We're entering into executive session at 7:01 p.m. As per the requirement of Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice is hereby given that this is a regular meeting of the Borough of Highlands, Mayor and Council. All requirements have been met. Notice has been transmitted to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times. Notice has been posted on the public bulletin board. Formal action will be taken. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilmember Braswell.
Here.
Councilmember Breon.
Here.
Councilmember Diariga.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Acknowledgement of service. Barry McCullough, DPW employee 1981 to 2018.
Barry, on behalf of the borough, I would like to present you with this plaque for your 38 years of service to the borough of Highlands. Our residents thank you for your service. I wish you a very happy retirement.
Now you have to do a lot of babysitting. Good. Enjoy it, Barry.
Before we get started tonight, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll just, get that over the movies tonight.
Enjoy.
Hey, Taylor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry, we appreciate it. Before we get started tonight, two quick things. Number one, as of today at 4 p.m., Claudette, our flood maps were officially adopted. And I want to thank Claudette for all of her hard work to make sure that this happened. We all owe her a big debt of gratitude. Also, if you want all the background information, there's a flooding button on the borough website. We uploaded all of the materials that were sent to us from engineering. So it has detailed flood maps, frequently asked questions, a lot of good stuff that everyone that lives downtown needs to know about. Secondly, if folks are here in regards to the applicants that's before the land use board, again, I will ask the attorney to speak a few words, as we cannot really speak to that, as it is a current application that is before another board.
I'll repeat what I said at the last meeting, and that is that I've directed the mayor and council to not comment on their pending land use application. There is a pending application before an autonomous independent board, that is the land use board. They have to go through the process, and there's an appeal process. It's potential that it could come before this governing body. I have directed them to not make comments. If you have comments to make, the appropriate forum to raise your comments or concerns will be during the public hearing of the land use board meeting, and I'm sure you'll be noticed for that. So just want you to be aware. You have to respect the fact that the governing body here can't make comment.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Resolution 18-138, authorized payment of the bills. Resolution 18-139, approval of insertion of Clean Communities grant into 2018 budget. Resolution 18-140, approve renewal liquor licenses for 2018 to 2019 term. Resolution 18-141, appoint public officer. Do I have a motion?
Yes, you do.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. The consent agenda has been properly approved. Resolution 18-142, amend appointment of special counsel, COA. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-142 has been properly approved. Resolution 18-143, authorize award of contract to New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Program. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-143 has been properly approved. Resolution 18-144, approve amended 2018 Highlands Business Partnership Event Calendar. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Broswell?
Abstain?
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
No.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-144 has been properly approved. Resolution 18-145, award a non-fair and open contract for wireless telecommunication consulting services to FSD Enterprises LLC. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-145 has been properly approved. Resolution 18-146, appoint temporary summer seasonal recreation employees. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Abstain.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-146 has been properly approved. Resolution 18-147, appoint temporary summer seasonal recreation employees for summer food service program. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Abstain.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Resolution 18-147 has been properly approved. Ordinance, introduction and first reading. Ordinance 1814, bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements and appropriating $500,000. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill's absence. Ordinance 1814 has been properly introduced and the public hearing will be on July 18th, 2018. Ordinance 1815, capital ordinance providing for various capital improvements and appropriating $500,000. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call. Councilmember Broswell?
Yes.
Councilmember Briand?
Yes.
Councilmember D'Arrigo?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor O'Neill is absent. Ordinance 1815 has been properly introduced, and the public hearing will be on July 18th, 2018. Other business, Paradise Lane.
Hi, my name is Scott Breslow. Want everybody else to know.
Please,
Okay,
closer
sir.
to the microphone.
Sure.
Actually, we're not in the public portion yet,
Okay.
so if you could just take your seat and then we can get to you once we're into public portion. The reason that Paradise Lane is on?
Coffee Group is here. They would like to speak about the ordinance that was passed with changing the name of the street. That is right, that's what it's on.
The ordinance you're referring to is ordinance 01811 that was introduced on April 18th. It was advertised, a public hearing was conducted on May 2nd, and was adopted at that time.
And am I correct in my recall that we asked the folks at Pote if they had any recommendations as to the name of the street, and they responded that they did not?
I will direct your inquiry to the borough administrator and all the communications with them.
Can you confirm that?
Yes, it was advertised, and there was also, I also did email Pote, it was quickly brought up at our board meeting, and we were told to move forward. I then had gotten emails back from someone else at Pote, and they would like to address the council.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, sir, if you could please come up and state your name and address for the record.
No, not you.
Good evening. Hello, my name is Sean Gordon. I am with Multi Group. I serve. Can I put it in there?
You have to press the little button in the back.
Should be on. It should be on.
Okay.
Everybody can hear me? Alright. I am a multi appointed trustee for the board of Harborside Hudson Ferry Association. I'm here tonight to request the town council to amend ordinance 01-18-11, which is an ordinance that changed the street name from Lighthouse Point Road to Paradise Lane. We're seeking to amend the ordinance to change it from Paradise Lane to Harborside Point. If the council does proceed with change, we are willing to incur any legal fees associated with the amendment of the ordinance.
Mr. Shabara, can you confirm the only fee that I can think of is the, other than noticing it for when we do the public hearing, is there any other fee that we need to pay, such as association with the post office or?
You ordered signs, that's my understanding from the.
Signs
borough
have already been
administrator.
out? Well, no.
I have not received any signs yet or an invoice for signs. I can check on that.
And a certified copy of that ordinance was filed with a number of county and state agencies. So there's obviously a publication and mailing cost too, and the publication cost for the ordinance.
Sorry?
I do not have the advertisement cost on right now.
No. It was.
I was gonna say advertising cost is nominal fee.
It was filing fee for the.
It's more the filing fees and the, okay. Let us get all those numbers together for you. And then once we have them, then we can get back to this discussion. It doesn't need to be here at a public meeting.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Recycle Coach app. New Jersey DEP has purchased a Canadian firm that specializes in apps for when your recycling is, when your garbage day is, when it's bulk. So we won't have to rely on our resident Ms. Squirka here, who often tells people when their pickups up. It's a great app. Isn't it awesome? So what we're working on right now is we have, for election times, we have people's address and listed by zones, but for garbage collection, we don't have that. So we're in the process of getting that spreadsheet together. Once we get that over to Recycle Coach, we're going to send out a blast to let everybody know. And it's a really simple app. All you do is you type in your address, and they've already uploaded everything that we recycle, what gets recycled where, when you have to go to the yard, what gets picked up curbside. So it's a great thing. It's going to make it more convenient for everybody, so that even if you don't have to look at the borough calendar for which recycling day it is, but it'll be right there on your phone, or it could be via email as well. So just letting you know if that's in the works. And with that, the engineer's report.
Good evening. A few things to discuss this evening. The 2017 road program was recently completed. All of the punch list work has also been completed, and the project closeout, final payment, etc., is underway as we speak. Shore Drive Pump Station, contracts were awarded to AC Schultes recently. A pre-construction meeting was held. Contractor submitted shop drawings for the actual pump and has ordered said pump. There is somewhere between 8 to 12 week lead time on receiving the pump. So upon receipt of that by the contractor, he will commence work shortly thereafter. We expect it to be approximately 2 to 3 weeks of actual construction time once he has the pump on scene. The Veterans Park Electric, we had started with the contractor. We got JCP&L to set the new pole and run the wiring and new transformers, etc. There was a little bit of a hiccup with the elevations and location of the cabinetry based on the approved drawings from about a year ago. So we're working with the contractor and the administration to modify that to suit the needs of the borough. I know there will be another meeting with the contractor tomorrow to go over some prospective changes to better suit the needs of the borough. We've been working on the temporary police trailer for the utility services. We obtained some survey information to demonstrate where we can run a sanitary sewer lateral. We believe we can achieve that by gravity heading towards South Street. So we've solicited some quotations from contractors to do that work. We'll hear back from them shortly and then make some decisions on the best way to get that completed in a timely manner. The Valley Street stormwater design, we submitted our plan back to the borough about a month ago. And so our work there is complete and awaiting bidding on that. The CDBG sanitary sewer program was awarded, and we are working through contract documents with the contractor, impressing them the need for an accelerated schedule. We will schedule a pre-construction meeting next week in advance of having some of that information together to get a jump start on that, and hope to hit that hard in the month of July. The flat valves, various locations, that's Park, Jackson Street, and Cedar Street. Those are in possession. The Jackson Street flat valve was installed this morning. The Vets Park one was started, almost completed, and the Cedar Street will be commencing likely tomorrow. As previously stated by Councilwoman Briand, the FEMA maps are now officially adopted. The borough had previously adopted the flood damage prevention ordinance, which instituted the maps as of this date as the effective maps. I had several conversations with members of both FEMA, NFIP, and the state agency, looking for some guidance on what should homeowners do, like immediately. Certainly anyone that has a down rating from a B zone to an A zone, for instance, should contact their insurance carrier, insurance agent, to determine what steps they should take to get reconsideration. There are some provisions available through that program to get considered for a downgrade or a down rating in the flood hazard zone, which should potentially give some relief on the premiums. So that was the primary consideration. I also indicated I sent some frequently asked question documents, etc., for anyone to peruse. All the information is generally available, but it's voluminous on the FEMA website. So I tried to highlight the pertinent points that people can go to, but your best avenue will certainly be to contact your insurance agent, I would say immediately, to just ask them what steps they need, how you document. Most of the FEMA mapping websites are live and active now, so if you put in your information, it will now represent the current effective map as the one that was just adopted today. So, having said that, I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Before we get to public portion, that has some things to say.
Jen asked me to remind everybody that there will be movies on the beach, and she has
3 dates that we know for sure, July 20th, August 17th, and September 14th. The movies have not been completely decided yet, so I wanted to let everybody know that. Also, the registration for summer camp, currently, when it closed at, before the late fee started kicking in, which was June 15th, there were 91 residents registered and 128 non-residents registered for our summer camp program. The program goes from 8:30 to 2:30, so it's been extended an hour, and it's going until August 17th.
Very good. Does anyone else have anything else?
Do you want to make mention of the distribution that we became aware of about a supposed town hall meeting that's occurring on July 11th at the Borough Trailer, which contained inaccurate information because the borough is not aware of the town hall meeting? And perhaps coincidentally, that's the next land use board meeting. Perhaps that's what they were referring to, but that wasn't borough sanctioned. It wasn't issued by the borough, and don't know where that came from. But
Right, we have no idea who put it. Apparently, anybody can put out a flyer and put out information. And, you know, unless it comes from the borough website or the borough Facebook page, consider it fake news. So what I think what was meant from that, from that flyer was that someone, you know, wanted people to get out to the land use board meeting. And that is actually at 7:30, not 7 o'clock. It's here, not at the borough office. So there's a lot of inconsistencies out there. If you have questions, call one of us, look at the borough website, look at the borough Facebook page. That's when you're going to get not fake news. I'll put it that way.
You guys didn't do that to throw us off the track?
You know,
Yes, and that's why we're explaining it
I'm
now.
absolutely 100% positive that did not happen.
Steve, that would have been for a council meeting, not a land.
It's worth pointing out that the application that everyone's thinking about is still in the application review stage. The next meeting is not a hearing, it's still application review stage. Is that correct, Chris?
Completeness.
Yes, please.
And there is no public comment
At that, correct.
about the application.
Right. There's no testimony until there's actually a public hearing, not a completeness hearing. Just, give me a second. I just want to, is there anything else that anyone at the table needs to say? Or would like to say?
I will tell you that the date will not be set until the completeness hearing is deemed complete.
Complete.
And then they will look on their calendar at the land use meeting, and they will decide what date they will have the hearing after that.
Go ahead.
I do have one more thing. The recreation department, under Kim, because she really worked hard on this, will have 4 concerts Thursday evenings, July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, and August 23rd. I think it's been mentioned before. On the 12th will be called Gentry Band. On the 26th will be the Random House Reggae Band. On the 9th will be Jerry Topinka's G13 Band. And on August 23rd will be the Moroccan Sheepherders.
That's fine.
That was the band that was in the best parade. They went,
Yes.
they were truly excellent.
We're just gonna go out and have a good time, doesn't matter, right? Really good time.
Chief, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yes, thank you. 2 things. Number one, to touch on what you said about social media. We had some vandalism about a week ago. Within 2 days of that vandalism report, we were able to identify the juveniles who committed that offense. I received a call from a newspaper about a Facebook post that I didn't see, and they were inquiring whether or not this was a stream of vandalism throughout the whole town, if it was on an uptick, and I explained to them that it absolutely wasn't. This was some kids who got a hold of a can of spray paint, uptown and downtown, and inland and downland. That's basically all it was. With that being said, with Facebook nowadays, I just encourage, I hope that we have a good relationship with the community. We can't be everywhere all the time, so we hope if you see something, say something, not on Facebook. We're open 24 hours, so just give us a call and tell us what you see, and obviously our officers will respond to that, because people get a little bit of outrage and they say what was done and nobody ever told us what happened. So we don't take all our stuff through Facebook or reports. Secondly, some of you will see in the area of C Street, those in, officer out there directing traffic for the next week, and it will be continuing through the next month. I just want you to know that is being paid for by C Street. The borough doesn't pay for it, okay? That's it.
Thank you. Only because I just want to give a little update. I did this a couple of months ago for current borough projects. So you might be asking about the project, but I'll just ramble these off and just let you know that they've been addressed. Things such as changing the tax abatement to make sure that it was commercial, that it's been completed. We now have, instead of having 3 separate contractors that provide water and sprinkling services at our parks, that's been sent out for quotes, and we now have one, just to streamline the process so that one person is going to all the parks, turning the water on, making sure all the sprinkler heads work. We had an issue where it was discovered during the sewer repair that the grammar school's gutters were going into our sanitary sewer system, so we were paying to have to treat rainwater. So that has been addressed and fixed. As Mr. Herman just said, we finished up the Day Street, North Peak, Twin Lights Terrace, and that little bit of Miller Street, so that's complete. And all borough properties are now on a set schedule to be mowed on Wednesdays. The area of redevelopment for Captain's Cove, the planner is working on that. We expect to see a draft from them by July 9. The CDBG streets, as again, Mr. Chairman said, that's getting worked on. We're expecting to see that getting done soon. And those streets are Atlantic to Washington from Bay to Shore, and that's for sanitary sewer repair. Cedar and Fifth is a drainage and road repairs, a little bit of sidewalk curbing. That started, well, actually, that's going to be finished very soon. I think one of the last bits is just at the punch list and getting a flat valve on that new outfall that we have on there. The form-based code, we are still working with the planner on that. We had a good discussion. We've got a new draft. We're going to review that once again, and hopefully we'll be able to have the planner write the new ordinance, and we can get that out there so we can have that new form-based code for the entirety of the new commercial business district. Jackson, Kay, and John, storm sewer improvements and repaving. They are coming on Monday. Nice. So as you can see, there's a lot of public works stuff going on. Monmouth Hills, we've had another productive meeting, actually just this afternoon, with the county engineers and representatives from Middletown. We're going to get a plan, and their Monmouth County engineers, we're going to get a plan together as to how to fix this twofold problem, because it's the amount of runoff of the rainwater, but it's also that the rainwater is carrying all the dirt from Monmouth Hills onto our streets. So it's actually 2 problems that are going to need some creativity in finding a solution, but we're on it. Outfall inspections, that's ongoing. The new pump should be getting here soon at the Shore Drive Sanitary. I don't know if anyone's been down to Valley Street, but we have been making some cosmetic improvements there. And we are working on getting a more permanent solution for the North Street pump station electric. It is not properly mitigated. It needs to be higher. It's on a temporary platform. And we're hopeful that most of this work will be reimbursed by FEMA. Okay. Portland Road and Hillside is ongoing. I believe we're going to be paving 2 weeks.
Right, first work will be
Yeah.
done next week. Hopefully that will go as planned. And
So then paving would follow 1 or 2 weeks following. Okay. What else? Removing the gas tanks. Now that we have the resolution adopted today, there were gas tanks in the DPW yard prior to Sandy, where all the thorough vehicles would gas up. Those gas tanks were compromised, and so now what we're doing is we have the RFP there from that contractor. Now that we have the resolution, those gas tanks will be mitigated and removed. Well, maybe just removed. Yeah. sewer scoping or sanitary sewer scoping for the area around the community center, which is Washington to Snug and Marine today, is ongoing with our shared service from Plainfield. And what they do is they can make trenchless repairs right on the spot. So when they're scoping and televising the lines and they see if there's a crack in the line, they can fix it automatically. The Shadow Lawn area redevelopment, I believe the planners are working on that, and we'll probably be talking about that at the next meeting. And Valley Street storm water and sanitary sewer and agent. That is let me see, CME is working with CNM and they're preparing all the bid documents. Those bid documents are going to go out in July, which is a couple of weeks, and we have a start date of September. When we did that for the reason that we didn't want to have all the streets torn up down there by the plant, like around where the plant is, and for the summer season, major artery and the first aid is there. It's just a whole mess of things are going on. So we figured that if we start in September, it won't be as busy. The valves should be done by tomorrow. That's electric, already talked about. And Waterwitch Pump Station, we're getting bids to get a prefab pump station so that we can take that building that's crumbling, make that go away. We're just going to get a prefab, as a lot of people have seen. There's a lot of modular homes coming up around town. It's the exact same thought. The engineer comes, they do the plans, it just gets popped down in there, tied in, it's flood-proof, everything's mitigated. So it makes it easier and less expensive. And with that, I will now open it up to the public. If anyone wants to speak, just go to the microphone. And just to remind you to please state your name and address for the record.
Sure.
Let's come up to those.
You can do it. It's good. My name is Scott Breslow. I live at 24 Lighthouse Point Road in Highlands, which is in the Fulton area. And my question for you is quite simple. Right? The other gentleman already explained what's happening with our road change. And I was just curious if the entire thing, can just be like brought up to appeal and just bring back the original name.
There was a hearing, a public hearing, as the attorney had said,
Yeah.
and no objectors objected. The street was named, there is another street called Lighthouse Road, which, funnily enough, goes to the lighthouse. And it's been named that road for quite a long time, not just...
I totally understand what you're saying, but I have 11 examples of very similar streets in the Highlands. That, it was very confusing, like initially, when this took place, but it's not confusing now. We've been here for a year and a half, and it's extremely disruptive to have to change our names. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is, because there's licenses, you have businesses, corporations, insurances, children, schools. It's a very large, like very unwelcoming thing to have happened. And like other than that, our experience in Highlands has been terrific, and we love it. But it's we had no idea that this happened. Unfortunately, communication with Pulte is very poor between Pulte and people that live there. And it's no reflection on the council, but they didn't share anything with us. We didn't receive any mail. I had no idea that our name of our street was even changed. So it was a blind side. And I'm just curious like, why it needs to take place. And I understand that the Lighthouse road was there for a very long time, and that we don't actually have a Lighthouse. Yeah, that looks like a Lighthouse, but it's not. But still, it's our street name, and we've gone through the trouble of moving, which is a royal pain, as everybody knows, has moved at least once or twice in their life. And I don't want to have to do it again. And essentially, we did. That's what we're being asked to do.
Okay, we can certainly discuss amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Let you guys know.
my first priority, number one, I'm very short.
Sure.
Is that I would just like to leave it the same if it's possible, or like a good argument could be made, that there's no reason to change it, and if that can't take place, then I would accept the name that Pulte has suggested, but it just doesn't make that much
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Can you make sure that that's on, Greg?
Testing.
There we go.
Hey, Greg Wells, 246 Bayside Drive. Again, I understand you guys probably can't say anything, but in the interest of transparency, since it's a lot of information floating around, and for our online viewers at home, I just want to make a quick statement about the 181 application. As many of you know, we have obtained...
Craig?
Yes.
You need to direct your comments here.
Okay. As many in the audience know and online know, and as you guys know, we have obtained legal counsel and will be providing expert testimony and witnesses at the upcoming hearing against this application. We have formed a nonprofit entity to do this through. We've had our first meeting yesterday, our legal meeting, which we've gotten approval to do so at the Borough Community Center. The next meetings, for anyone who wants to attend, will be next Wednesday, June 27th. Then we'll be meeting July 5th and July 12th, and all at the Community Center at 8 p.m. And in addition, we have asked the Borough Administrator Kim, we have prepared a door hanger, a political style door hanger, and we will be canvassing the community with those hangers to, in essence, raise funding to pay for these services. So again, Kim, we're looking for you for approval. I can't find anything.
We're gonna look into it with the borough attorney.
Yep. But again, just in the interest of transparency, because obviously they're gonna come above you, and you need to know about it at the same time. This will be happening.
Okay, I got just ask that whatever you're gonna put out there is truthful in manner and correct, not like
What
this flyer
we have
that's
out there,
weird.
what we have out there again has no position on this issue. It's simply notifying residents that this issue is in front of the land use board, and quite frankly, asking for a donation to help provide expert testimony.
And you said that you also made it clear that this was not a borough line.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It's we're a 50, I always get the numbers mixed up.
501c3.
C4.
Or C4.
501c4.
Okay.
It's all legally filed.
Okay.
But that's not to say it's necessarily permissible, but as the administrator said, we'll look into it. This is the first to come to language.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Great, thanks, guys.
Just sort of.
Lower it.
Just sort of short drive, just a quick question now that we've got more C Street people coming to park on short drive. If the DPW can make sure the yellow curbs are painted at the fire hydrants and crosswalks and the corners at the side streets, would be much appreciated. And do the rest of the town, we actually have a striking company coming in the next 2 weeks. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Could you do me a favor and hand that to Ms. Bucko?
I would be happy to come up front, but this is fine. I wanted to ask a question about Resolution 18-141. You appointed the public officer. Is that a paid position or is it part of his regular position?
It's part of his regular position. It just runs out every year. We started appointing Dave, I believe it was 2 years ago. And it's all in conjunction with how,
The demolition
it was the demolition proceedings, and our ordinance cites a public officer. So we had to make him the public officer in order to do any demos.
Okay. I also have a question for Pat, I think. We get M&S for an extra garbage pickup, and we pay for it because we have 160 families living there, and our pickups are not sufficient. So we have a contract with them. But all of a sudden, this month, they slipped in a fuel charge. So I'm wondering if the borough is getting a fuel charge. And I asked what it was for, because we had a meeting today, and I asked what it was for, and it's to pay for their gas. I mean,
I would imagine that's what a fuel charge would do.
well, I thought maybe it was because they had to take it to the dump, maybe it was at the
Oh, I
dump or
see.
something. But why do we have to pay for their gas if they're in town anyway? and they're just coming down Shore Drive. It's not part of our contract, and I just wondered if the borough is also receiving a fuel charge from, M&S, because, we might,
I think that's something we have to look into.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, does it say the words fuel surcharge?
It just said fuel, yeah, I think it said surcharge, I'm not sure. I have to look in. No, I don't know what
Do you recall how much it was?
It never happened before.
Do you recall how much the fee was?
Yeah, it was $12. But what the heck? I mean, $12 to us or $12 to M&S?
Okay.
And I would like to say to this gentleman that I objected to Paradise Lane because I thought it was a stupid name.
Okay.
And it did not fit the situation. But, I have no nickel in that time, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Do you
Now,
have anything else?
yes, I have
One last thing.
Since I didn't get a second opportunity to ask my second question that I had forgotten the first time at the last meeting, I sent a letter to Kim. And I want to tell you the questions, and I'll tell you the answers, and I also wrote back and said, ask for further clarification, and I never got it. So I'm going to just do it now. First of all, I was concerned about the Heroin Anonymous program going on here in a public building, which is used by the children every day. And the reason I was concerned, well, my first question was, who made the application to use the community center? In other words, if you're applying to use the community center, you have to apply under a certain specific heading, and you have to pay a fee. And Kim said that a resident, as this is an anonymous group, we cannot divulge the name. The group is anonymous. The person making the request to use the center is not anonymous. His name is apparently
No, don't say his name. It's the gentleman that is in recovery. Please, let's not do that. That's not what that's about. There are AA meetings that happen in this building. There is mixed, anonymous for people for drugs or marijuana or alcohol.
Well, those people are anonymous, but the people running it are not anonymous.
If they are in recovery, they are.
Well,
Please don't mention this gentleman's name.
He posted on Facebook, so there, Is that fake news or what? His name was posted on Facebook. I don't know his last name. His name is Stephen. That's it. Okay. Now, I said under what auspices was the application made and the charges paid? And she answered, they were told by the mayor and council president, one strike rule, no fights, no drugs, no disrespecting borough property, community center must be put back as to how it was found when they entered. Do the mayor and the council president have the right to make decisions as to who can use the center? That was my rebuttal question.
Do you want answers to these questions?
Well, it's fine if you want to give answers.
Jen felt that this was higher than her, so she brought it to the administrator and the mayor and myself, because it's solely up to the discretion of the administrator. The administrator also thought it was, this is a big decision to make. So she asked the mayor and I to help and aid in this decision and under what parameters this, as any group that asks for something here. And those one strike rule, those are the same rules that were given to the AA people and the mixed use people. We're not doing anything that we have not done for other anonymous groups before.
So in other words, you have AA people meeting here as well, and the whole town didn't know about that?
This has been going on for years. I didn't start this.
I've been here 65 years, and I never heard of it. I mean, I don't understand, but...
They are a very quiet group, both of them.
Well...
On occasion, because they start at, when they start at 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock on Sunday nights.
Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. the facility is locked up. So, the people who have keys take turns sometimes to come open up and let them in. And occasionally that's me. And I stay here for the entire duration of the meeting. I don't like sit out here. I stay out of the way. But they're quiet. They follow a very strict agenda. They do their thing. Mostly they just talk. Sometimes they have coffee, and then they leave. There's no ordering. They're out of here. I was a little concerned when I first heard about it, but they've been orderly and uneventful. And it seems to me that for those people who that is good therapy for them, it's I can't.
It's part of the
I think it's
program.
good.
It's sort of like paying the fee, because I know that was probably another one of your questions, is paying the fee. We offered to waive the fee because we wanted to help them out, and they said, no, it's part of the program, we have to pay our own way. So they've got to pay for their coffee, they've got to pay the fee, they wanted to pay extra to the town for letting them have a safe place to have their meetings.
They've never made a mess. There's never been any altercations. They're quiet and orderly.
Yeah.
I've
And there's somebody
been
here
impressed.
supervising all the time.
Yes. When I voted for them, I'm here.
I have to say why I was concerned about this. My main concern was it taking place in the community center. And these are recovering heroin addicts. And when you're in recovery, you might still be doing the drug. So my concern was that if somebody felt the need to go into the bathroom and shoot up, and the needle got dropped or something happened, and the next day the kids are in here, and then something happens with the kids, then it makes the town liable, and makes the community liable, or whoever gave permission, but we don't know who gave permission. Well, we do know who gave permission, you and the mayor and Kim. I think that if the building is to be rented by an entity in town, it's a matter of public record who rents it. And
Well, you said you already know his name. It's on Facebook, that's definitely a
I
record.
was told that he's not the renter. I was told that he was not the renter, so I have no idea what his last name is, and I don't really care. I applaud him for his efforts. But in the meantime, my concern mainly was with the children coming the next day and maybe something offensive being here.
Okay.
And that's my main concern with it. And you said there are AA meetings here too?
Yes.
Wow. And nobody ever knew about it.
And it happened,
They definitely anonymous.
okay, guys, come on. Can we wrap? You want to get those microphones from Carol?
Andy Dana, 118 Miller Street. I just wanted to,
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I don't think the clerk got that.
118, Andy Dana, 118 Miller Street. Just wanted to put Carol at ease.
Wait, you direct your comments here.
Okay. There's no way that a person would go in that bathroom, get high, and come out here and the rest of the people not knowing.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. I just wanted to let her know, that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And
Does anyone else?
did you say, Carol, that, or someone said, you said it's a one strike and you're out?
Yeah, that's it, one strike and you're out.
If we found something, if there was an issue, that'd be the end of it.
We also have somebody here that does flash that has a key that can plug in
Yeah.
on.
We don't just let them in, we whoever is on that night that does it, like they let
It's
them
like
in.
we
they
let
stay
them
here.
in and we stay here until the last one of them is out. And believe me, I know what someone that's on heroin looks like, and it's not like, and you can fake it when you're back out.
We make sure that we do a walkthrough. We make sure we get insurance liability. We make sure that we're investing.
Well, one claim to be so transparent, but nobody really knew anything about it until it was published on Facebook. Nobody in the whole town knew anything about it.
If anybody asked me, I would have told them,
Well, how do you know who they asked? How do you know who they asked?
because it's up to them to promote their meeting.
Right, so who do we gotta ask? I asked the questions, I didn't get satisfactory answers, but, you know, transparency on paper, nevertheless.
Okay. I think Chris has the microphone. Chris, you want to come up to the...
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Chris Francie, 36 Fifth Street. Two quick questions. The second bond ordinance seems to be drawing on existing bonding that we already authorized.
The second was not a bond, it's capital ordinance.
Okay, you're spending existing.
Exactly.
You're spending existing bonding that was already authorized
Stop.
for other things, no?
It's not a bond.
It's not a bond. It's money from our capital fund that we are earmarking to solely be used for capital improvements.
We're appropriating.
They're only appropriating the money from the capital improvement fund. You can ask the CFO for details.
All right, so this has nothing to do with the 1.8 that we bonded
No.
for the flooding?
No.
Thank you. Second quick question. This is now the first week that the big C Street ferry has been in operation. Sunday, I'm aware of a incident in the channel, just as they were making the turn, one of the Highlands boaters coming in on his 25-foot Donzi, and this ferry threw a weight that this man was truly threatened in his mind. He went to the Coast Guard, he's been to the police, but at this point, I'm just trying to make Highlands authorities aware there are going to be issues with this big boat, not just parking. At this point, this man's 6 years old, has been on the water his entire life. He does not scare by rough weather.
Right.
And he said it was crazy. The boat generates a different kind of weight. It settles into the water, and it's something, and we don't know, he doesn't know what to do with it, because Coast Guard laughed at him, Marine Police laughed at him, they wouldn't give him the name of the captain, he wanted to pursue it, so, you know, just be aware.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
You're in the wrong position, time.
Trisha Rivera, 31 Waterwich.
Can you please repeat that?
Trisha Rivera, 31 Waterwich.
Thank you.
So the first thing I wanted to bring up was an ordinance R 1633 that was a resolution that was passed. It's not from tonight. It was a resolution that was passed in 2016 that allows public comment to address agenda items. Gives 3 minutes. I can give it to you if you'd like. And that's not happening anymore.
The mayor stopped that?
I know, but this was passed, so we can't just stop it. So I think this needs to come back into effect, because that's actually law right now, isn't it?
When are you stopped from speaking? This is the public portion right now.
No,
that's at the beginning
on
of the meeting.
agenda items prior, 3 minutes.
Is it year-to-year resolution?
Okay.
You have to look at it.
Do you want it?
Not right now.
Okay. Okay, my next thing is about these huge structures that they're building, and I know I emailed a few of you about it. And this was supposedly okay through an ordinance 013-5 that allowed people to build above the BFE.
Hang on one second. Ed, could you explain the building height requirement that I believe in 2013 it was changed to, the calculation was done from the top of the mitigation, so either the top of the concrete block pivot or the pier?
Wait, can I finish though? Because the ordinance that was passed publicly is different than what T&M or the zoning officer is sending, because it's all scratched out and there's all markouts.
Well, that's meaning that that ordinance had been amended in some way.
Right, but that's not what was publicly discussed and voted on. So there's problems between these two things, and I think it needs to be looked at and I think it needs to be corrected. And I also think that it was done with well and good intent to help Sandy people elevate. Sorry.
We have those.
Yeah, you can have it. To help Sandy people elevate without having to go to the zoning board, but they never actually addressed the heights. So now, in this area, you could build a 45-foot structure, Bay Avenue 50-foot structure.
There's two separate things happening. One is that they change, where your building height is calculated from. Longer ago, it used to be from grades, and they changed it to the BFE.
Right, well,
And then the other thing you just mentioned, after Sandy, they did an ordinance, I guess it was an ordinance, that allowed you to raise your house to comply with the floodplain with FEMA, and however high your house was, didn't matter as long as you were just raising it. So if you had a three-story house that complied with its height before the flood, and you're now complying with the flood ordinance, you could raise that house and not worry about the height, because however high
I
your
think
house
she's talking about new construction.
I know, okay, new construction.
All the people that elevated their homes
Right.
because
But
they
that,
were
but that
destroyed in Sandy.
is, new construction still has to comply with a height limit.
Right, but their height limit now is
It's from the BSE.
from, for whatever, 12 feet and then above. So now we're talking about 45-foot structures in these neighborhoods, which is huge. And over 50-foot structures on Bay Avenue in the business district. I think that's way too high. And, I looked at the master plan re-examination report, and, under residential, it says conserve and protect the existing residential character of the borough, require that infill development may be compatible with the neighborhood and conform to the existing setbacks and existing buildings on the block, limit new development and infill development that increases the intensity of the neighborhood, land, and property use. I mean, that's all being broken by these huge structures. On top of the fact that this was all tiny bungalow homes, and that's what our infrastructure supports. So now we're not fixing our infrastructure. We're not doing much about that. So now we have more strain on our infrastructure because of these gigantic homes that are being built that are completely out of character of the area, of the town. There's no symmetry to any of the blocks. So, I mean, I'd like to see this addressed because it's, on top of the fact that they're blocking people's solar panels because nobody's getting a letter because it's okay to just come and build a gigantic home next to something on these small lots. They're really undersized lots. They're not, they're non-conforming lots. They're not, it's not like they're the new size lots. They're the old non-conforming lots that they're allowed to build. So I would really like somebody to address this.
If you can give those to the engineer.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then my last question is about when are we going to do something about this area? Because we're the only. No, I know. I mean, no. She talked. Yeah, but we have flooding that has nothing to do with just with the. I mean, obviously we also have the 36 runoff, but there's no mitigation measures other than the 36 runoff. I'm happy here. The snub? No, she talked about the sewer, not the pumping station, right?
There's both scoping of sewer and storm sewers
No, I know.
in
but-
this area, right?
but-
It's going on.
I'm talking about mitigating, like,
And we're also doing the outfall studies. I had mentioned that earlier.
I know, but what about a pumping station over here? That's not gonna help get the water out of here when we flood, all what you're doing. I appreciate you doing all of that. But we have 2 pumps at the other end of town, and this end of town gets flooded really badly, and we have no relief over here. None. So, I mean, when is that going to finally be addressed? That's my question. Can we please start to address it?
We are starting to address it by fixing what is wrong already. Right, we had, but once we, wait, because if you have got a bunch of broken pipes with a bunch of broken outfalls, and you go all of a sudden go and get a pump, the pump's not gonna fix anything.
Okay, but it takes a
But
year.
you have to, I understand that. But, hang on, let's just have a conversation. We have to fix what is broken and fix what are all these outfalls, because it's gonna make a difference of how many RPMs you're gonna need on that pump. If you're gonna see how much is going, naturally, how much is going into the earth. This is why there's all of these, that's how you get sinkholes, because if there's a broken sewer line, storm sewer, then the water's going under, and it's not going through.
Okay, I mean.
So I'm saying, you have to fix.
I get that there are things you need to do.
And that's why we have to that's why we have to appropriate these monies in these capital ordinances, so that we can finally get to work like the work that we're doing now. We're going through these streets, like what we're doing on Portland Road. Our children go to school up that road. We have to fix that road. It's a priority.
Okay, so my question is, once again, I get it. What's the ETA on
that particular one?
Mitigating over here? Because it takes a year to get the permit. So, and from what I understand, we had a permit that we let lapse, which is really upsetting to me.
We had a DEP permit?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was back in like 13, 14.
So what we have to do at this point, right, it's the start of it is getting our valley where we're going to have to.
Right, I know, I'm worried about
Well, I have to
here.
let everybody know. I know you know, but we have to let everybody know. We're going to talk about it. It looks like we're not doing what we need to do, and we don't, right? So we need to do the right thing. We need to start with Valley Street. That's the beginning of our grant program. It's done in phases. We have to do it in phases. We cannot rip apart this entire town and spend multi-millions of dollars and have everyone not be able to function. Because then you're just gonna flood out your water level.
Alright.
You can go ahead and stick a shovel on the ground, you need to dry well. When you dry well, you're gonna see when we do valley, it's gonna be a complete mess. Why? Because it's dry well around these streets, right?
And what dry well means is that they have these little tubes in and it sucks all the water out.
Make sure that we're sucking the water out, it's just coming up as we're trying to put these drainage pipes in. So it's not as easy as just putting the drainage pipe in, we have to make sure your utilities are safe, new utilities in the ground. So we're gonna have to do that all around the whole entire.
I'm just wondering how
Right.
long it's gonna take, that's all.
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be a
is
while.
there any kind of
Yeah,
ETA on any relief for us over here?
I imagine it's gonna probably be a good 5-year capital plan, and I don't even know how much is gonna get done. But it's gonna be something that's gonna be continual, it's gonna be something that's gonna be a nonstop program for your town. And it's gonna happen, we're all gonna have to work together on it, and we have to figure out the phases that are gonna work the best and then fit together.
I mean, we've been waiting a long time, and it just seems to never, ever,
Well,
ever.
the difference between now
It's never gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, but the difference between now and all the prior years is that there's activity now.
Right, but not on this side.
It is on this side. The meeting we had today with, Middletown engineers and the county engineers and the, DOT is involved, but they weren't present at the meeting today. But that water that we're talking about today at that meeting, eventually ends up in Jones Creek.
Right, that's the 36 runoff.
Yes.
But that's not the only problem we have in this area. We have very bad regular flooding just on high tides. So
Right.
I get that
Okay,
you're
but-
working on that. I appreciate that because that's a problem.
But one affects,
not as much
even
as
though they're
the regular
separate
flood.
sources, one problem does affect the other. And if we start putting some kind of solution in place downtown, down here in your neighborhood, before we know the effect of the solution that we put into place that's going to handle the water coming from upland, they may not be compatible. And we could end up with a different problem that you'll be equally upset at. But what we're trying to figure out right now between all these engineers from all these different jurisdictions is not only the sediment, but the volume of water that's coming down. We have to increase the capacity of the the water handling pipes downtown, which they never were designed to handle the high energy water coming from up the hill. That may have a positive effect by itself on the flooding in your neighborhood.
That's just for when it rains. That's when it rains. We
Yes.
get that when it rains. But we
When it
get
rains,
regular flooding just like the rest of the town does. Only we get it worse over here because Captain Coves is a nightmare. So,
Yes.
and we have to
Your
check
tidal
that.
flooding is, your tidal flooding, your storm drain is going down your neighborhood, the street in front of your house, outfalls into Captain's Cove and also comes this way into Jones Creek. They're pitched the wrong way. They're probably, they could be metal corrugated pipes, I'm not sure.
I think they are
Probably
terracotta.
cheese.
As Swiss cheese. Up on Portland and the road we're doing right now, I was just up there and they pulled out all of this corrugated metal storm drain pipe that was rotted on the bottom, and it was not
So it was just.
not
top of the pipe
performing
was
at
wet.
all.
I'm sure that's how it is down here. And that's
Yeah.
what I really like. I mean, we've been waiting for so long, and it's just been.
Yeah.
It really affects the quality of life. I mean, you can't get to work, you can't get to school. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Tom Reed, 7 Slug Harbor Avenue, right over here. I first want to say, Highlands is not only coming back, it's coming up. I'm happy about that. I wanted to reiterate what the young lady in the back row was saying about the Heroin Addicts Anonymous meeting being held in this building. My first worry and concern, sort of mimicking her, is, town sanctioned it and put it on town property and the culpability and liability of something that could happen. And there's no predicting what a drug addict is going to do. And I'm going to say right now, I'm a proponent and a compassionate backer of the recovery community. I have extensive history in running a program as an altruistic endeavor continuously for 7 years and didn't draw a nickel. As a matter of fact, I was donating about $1,500 a year towards that program. So no one's going to tell me I'm not sympathetic to these folks. I think it's the wrong location. According to World NA, this is the World Organization of Narcotics Anonymous, they have a 95% dropout rate. That means that 95% of the people that enter these meetings don't make it. And it's a sad statistic. I wish it was better. AA has a 90% dropout rate, so it's a little bit better. But the thing that struck me tonight was I didn't know there was an AA meeting in this building. So they must be operating this meeting anonymously, the way it should be operated. I think we need more parameters. I don't think this is the right venue for this meeting because, like I say, according to World NA, they have a 95% dropout rate. What someone else said earlier, there are people coming to meetings who are active. That's a fact. There's no denying that. So what we're doing is we're commingling town children with active addicts. I think it's a great
There are
idea.
no children's activities in this building
Excuse
on
me.
Sunday evening.
I was here Sunday with my family on the beach. And there was about 4 or 5 other families on the beach. And I'm going to address the parameters and the way it's being run. Believe me, I support these people 100%. We have an entrance back here and a bridge back here. We have a bridge up there that's towards the front of the beach. Apparently, which is part for the case, a lot of these meetings, other meetings, they're busing people in from facilities. So this is what I'm saying, we need stricter parameters. Instead of parking back here and coming in and out of this entrance, apparently both entrances are open. They parked 4 or 5 houses in front of this bridge here with the van transporting people from, I guess, a lockdown recovery facility. So they exit the van, and now this is happening, they parked in front of my house and left me ample cigarette butts. I appreciate that, and I'm sympathetic to that too, because I have a cigarette now and again myself. I just have one outside, but don't I put it in my back pocket and I throw it on someone's front lawn. So they exit the van, they cross this bridge, they post up on this picnic table, about 4 or 5 men that were actually looking for me, smoking cigarettes, hanging out. Someone just said you could definitely tell a drug addict. Well, they may not have been actively taking.
No. I never said I can definitely tell a drug addict.
Someone would before they said definitely tell a drug addict. Well, I'm hoping that they weren't on drugs then, because they were coming to the meeting. However, it was plain to see the way they were dressed, that they weren't coming to a real beach. I guess a reasonable person or a law enforcement person would look and say, you know, maybe they should be dressed a little bit better if they were in, if you're in public. To me, I guess I'm an old dog. I believe your pants should be pulled up. 2 or 3 guys, the pants are down their ankles, their whole underwear is showing. I'm on the beach with my family, other families. People got uncomfortable, namely my family, 2 other families, and left the beach. But this is not the perception I want the Highlands or this beach to have. It's unacceptable. We can't have, if folks are going to use this building, the parameters have to be, they got to come in out of maybe the back door, be a little more discreet, be a little more anonymous, not post up out front, post up out back, mingle around the building. It's just not being done right. I didn't know, I lived right there, I never knew there was an AA meeting there, because they operated it properly. This meeting is not being operated properly, because like I said, there were plenty of families up here, and families left the beach because they felt uncomfortable with the.
What time was that you?
7:40, 7:45, sun's out, beach is being used, playground is being used. It's not the right thing. And someone else here said something about what happens if. Stuff like that happens every day. I'm familiar with this. I've been connected with a director of the facility as an altruistic endeavor. Didn't take a dime. Happens every day. You know, just because someone's coming to a meeting doesn't mean they're clean. It might mean that they want to get clean, but according to World NA, 95% dropout rate. I wish it was better, but these are the facts. And we got to close it down or rein in the parameters, and it's got to be run anonymously and without interference to families on the beach. Not that these folks are interfering with it, but they're sitting on the picnic table smoking multiple cigarettes. They weren't going in their back pockets. And they were dressed, I hate to say it, looked like drug users, you know. I guess I'm just showing my age. I don't believe a man should walk around town with the pants down here and their whole underwear showing. Family next to us felt uncomfortable and left the beach. This is not something that happen in this town. It's just not the, to me, I don't think it's the right for the future. I wish them all the best, but, it's either gotta be stricter parameters put in or find a new situation. Because it has affected the quality of life. If there is one strike and you're out, chasing families off the beach might be that strike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You wanted to say something over here? Would you like to come up? Okay, item 1. Wait, she has to take notes, that's why we have to wait until she gets back to you. There you go. I see the light on. Come closer, we're not gonna bite.
Carol won the crowd.
Yes, she did.
Steve Saw, 205 Bay Avenue. A question for the chief. Do I direct that to you or to the chief?
If you have a question, yes, Steve, if I can, I'll address that after the meeting. I'm not going to do that right now. So, anything, any questions?
No, I wanted to know about the status of beat cops and bike cops in town during summer.
Sure.
Okay, sounds good. And then I want to move on to the main subject. The reason why I'm here is the Highlands Business Partnership. Okay, I just wanted to know if there was anything that has progressed with what I worked on with Claudette, the liaison. So yes or no?
What exactly
Yes.
are you, no, before you were asking about the survey, which the results are on the business portion of the website?
About the survey, excuse me. I asked if there was any movement as far as the recommendations that I worked on with Claudette.
I have not been given any recommendations. What recommendations?
Concerning the ledgers and the budget and.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, but I mean, when we met, together, when we first started the task force, we sat down and we went, talked to people and gave some recommendations, submitted that to the mayor.
Yeah, we did give a list to the mayor of things that, suggestions we made and.
I never saw
He
this.
had it in front of him, but it hasn't been addressed.
Okay, so.
He's not shared that.
Okay. then you know what?
That's why I'm a little, not, why I was
That's
confused.
fine. And you know what, next meeting, I'll be more than happy to go over those, and share that.
That'd be great.
Everybody there.
Or feel free to give it to me.
Well, you know what, I thought.
I'll make a copy. Okay, fine. Run with scissors.
I'll give it to you and you can read it.
Sure, absolutely. I'd love to. Yes.
Okay, so you went in, you approved the events calendar and, you know, I mean, it still doesn't follow the ordinance.
We approved the events because it was rained out.
Okay, so you approved the budget, you approved the events, but still, there's nothing that's really kind of going into the center of town and benefiting everything. You know, one of the things in the ordinance is the purpose of promoting the economic and general welfare of the district. So, you know, I mean, I don't think that includes detox centers, but that could be a district.
That's not a decision that's before the town.
Well, just saying. I want to know if there's my graphic and it's 100.
Seven.
Well, this is an old one here, I'll have to update it, but there's 111 people involved in this, okay? And there's 8 businesses that really benefit from these events.
And what are those 8 businesses and how did you come across this data?
Well, by looking at the event schedule and looking at the budgets. So it's pretty simple, you have that, you can look at that, events. I'm in blue area. Okay?
Steve,
So-
I'd ask you to please direct this
That's fine.
comment
Okay,
stuff.
and here, as that, okay?
Very good.
You have all the information, okay? I've been
I
asking.
really don't have all the information because it was not
You
shared
have
with
the
me.
budget, you approve the budget, you approve the event schedule, okay, so you know exactly who benefits. Now, last August, when I came and I asked for the independent task force, and it took till October to get somebody to work with me, all right? You know, they did it for a reason, because we have a void in the middle of town. Okay, everything occurs on the outside, and you've had this discussion a long time, many times. So, you know, I'm gonna leave you with that thought today, and then next meeting, I'll bring my recommendations as far as what I worked with for that.
You don't have to wait until next meeting, that's a month away.
Well, it's okay.
You're right, it's not
I
just,
might be here, I mean, you know, it's, you know, my daughter-in-law had a baby, so, you know.
congratulations. If you could please state your name and address.
Linda Mazzola, 200 Marina Drive, Highlands. I just want to let everybody know that I'm fairly new to the town, so I do have some questions in reference to some of the goings-on and that, you know, in this particular building. In reference to the meeting that occurs on Sunday evenings, who pays for the, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck in any way, but I need to know, because I am new, who pays to run this particular building? I mean, how is this building paid for? How is it funded?
Through the municipal budget.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
And
Again,
each
I'm new.
group that comes in pays a fee.
Okay.
And we're looking at that fee structure.
Every group pays a fee, and every group
Yes,
pays the same thing?
yeah, like even the garden club pays a fee, the HBP pays a fee, any of the historical society, any of those types of groups. Some of them get waived if they're if they're, nonprofits,
Okay.
other people, like there's yoga, what are some of the other ones that come in here? There's a whole bunch of different ones that come in.
It's a fee, but it's a very nominal fee, so it does not cover running the building for that particular event, under any circumstance, with lights and air conditioning.
Programs that we- So like right now, we have a certain recreation program in plan. I require that a certain, percentage of the registration fees are donated to the trust.
Okay. So have a better understanding now. So for the most part, I'm in the construction industry. I know what goes into even keeping a facility like this. It's beautiful, it's very well kept, and I'm very happy to be part of it and even to be here now. With that being said, since the taxpayers are paying for this facility, any group that is coming into this building and is using it is a liability to this town. And if it's a liability to this town, and the taxpayers are paying.
You're saying any recovery group?
Or any group in
Okay.
general, certainly any group, because, we have to have insurance to,
Kim, would you like to?
I actually require a liability certificate from any group or outside group that comes in, and they're required to also do a whole promise agreement
Mhm.
that will, fit the way they have to cover.
Okay. I understand that, and I'm very familiar with insurance as well. However, there's no insurance policy in the world that will cover a situation if a recovering addict or an addict who's currently using gets into an altercation with a neighbor, harms a child, or anything else of a substantial nature. There's no insurance in the world that's going to protect us from that. With that being said, I have a niece and nephew who spend a lot of time at my house. I also have a boyfriend who has young children. I would never in a million years allow them near that park on Sunday. I just won't. And just like it was expressed from some of these other people, it is not that I do not have sympathy, because I have had loved ones and I have had friends, some who are still trying to recover and they're still struggling. So I know how bad it could be. And I resent the fact that we had to find out on Facebook. Why are these things not public knowledge? I understand it's an anonymous group. I don't need to know the names of people who are coming here. However, I think that we need to know that it's happening. That's my problem. Second issue. Carolyn, I would like a little explanation as to what does the Highland Business Partnership have to do with the way, are they only events? What is their role in this town exactly?
They're not just events. In fact, right now they're doing a grant program where their eligible businesses can do facade upgrades like paint or awnings or different things like that. They also do a number of small business breakfasts where they invite county economic development people in that can help people get low percentage grants, like a woman-owned business can get a certain grant, or minority grants, or just small business in general grants. They work a lot with the bank here in town to offer services to anybody that wants to open up a business in town for all of their banking services.
So
There's also a lot of promotion going on, advertising. They rent billboards all over the county.
So it's certainly,
It's not just events.
it's not just a social, group, that's, okay, so that's a very positive thing, okay? And that's something that stood out to me, being an outsider, and looking into this particular neighborhood for many, many years. With that being said, I have reviewed their website extensively, and I've done some research, and it seems to me that they represent the businesses, 107 businesses in this town. You've been copied on an email that I sent to the Highlands Business Partnership, where I requested, I want to know what their finger is, what the finger on the pulse is of the businesses in this town, in reference to 181 Bay Avenue. I know you can't comment in reference to that facility, and I respect that. However, I as a newcomer to town, I want to know, what is their role in this? What is their opinion, since they are representing 107 businesses of this town?
Well, it's not 107 businesses, it's parcels of property. So that number comes from the combination of commercial property owners and business owners. Sometimes that's the same person, but oftentimes it's not, so that's why
So it
there's
might
that.
be less, because if you have a commercial building, okay. With that being said, the response that I was given was, well, we can't give an opinion, we can't vote, because we would have to pull all of our members. Well, then that's what should be done. All of those members should be polled. And the second aspect of this is, do your members even know what's happening?
I think everybody knows what's going on in town. No, really?
Your council members or do your business members?
No, I'm talking about the
They
members of the
have their
town
own
business.
meeting.
I was gonna say, they're their own, just like
Yeah.
the land use board is its own entity, the business partnership is its own entity. It's their own 501c3 organization.
Okay.
We have no power over them except to approve events and approve the budget.
However, you are the liaison between the
Correct.
council and that group. Okay, so then there
But you
is,
can't give them orders as a liaison.
Yeah, I can't direct them to do
I
it.
don't expect you to direct them.
Okay.
I'm just merely gathering facts and I'm asking questions,
Your inquiry
okay?
should be directed to the business partnership, not the mayor and council.
I've done that already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a liaison, since I'm not getting an answer, that's why I'm standing here in front of you.
Okay.
And I'm asking you for an answer. I would like to know, through you,
Sure.
if all of those 107 entities, or less, or whatever it may be, if they are aware, through that organization, have they been educated as to what is occurring at 181 Bay Avenue? That's my question.
And again, that should be directed to the HBD.
And again, I
Independent
already did that.
Okay, but that should be
Okay,
directed to them.
Carolyn's the liaison, I'm asking her as the liaison.
I'm telling you what the answer is.
And I don't have the answer off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Because I'd have to,
That's
go to the board and see
That's fine.
what's been done on that.
And that's fine,
And there's also a public hearing process in place for that land use application, so.
yeah, I'm very well aware of that, thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
You bet. Anyone else?
I'm Mike Tennant at 10 Central Ave. I just wanted to reiterate the concerns about the Snug Harbor area, the sunny day flooding. We were one of the nicest days you could imagine in Highlands the other day. And I went out for a walk and I was puddle hopping and I had to backtrack and I could not walk through the neighborhood. It was flooded. I was on Central, but I was all that side of Jones Creek. Every one of the streets, every patch basin was backing up. And I just wanted to say that I think one of the priorities in the program, you can't just deal with the pipes, you have to deal with that head wall at the end of Jones Street, and the flat valleys of Berkeley. The water just pours through the head wall, it comes up, floods right up to Bay Avenue, every one of those patch basins backs up, and it should be a priority in the capital program to fix that. And I don't see that you can really deal with the flooding just through the pipes. It's not about the rain, it's a sunny day, every new moon high tide, full moon high tide. I just wanted to make that statement.
Sure. Steve, you've had quite some time already.
I don't see the clock here.
There isn't a clock, it's because I think I've been very,
I just remember to have the ordinance.
can you
So I'm
hand it
gonna
over
give
to
that
me?
you.
And then I could be more prepared for you for next meeting?
And I want you to put it
And
on
I-
your nightstand.
Okay.
I promise not to
I'll
fall
give it to my
asleep.
cat. And if you could please send me that, whatever you sent to the mayor, that would be awesome, because then I could review it.
Courtesy,
Yes, absolutely.
the courtesy of reviewing it and potentially.
Thank you, Steve.
What's the business?
Yes, Chief.
Just a reminder, Cape Highlands is this Saturday. It's always a good time, everybody hopefully comes out, invites their friends, Highlands, walk around, enjoy Saturday.
Right, and it's not just the restaurants, there are a lot of businesses that are participating that are, putting out some cool stuff. I know the, Lisa at the spa, she's doing a jambalaya, I think, this year. And also Logo Pros is participating. So, it's not just the restaurant. Go in to any of the businesses, you'll find a little map, and it's a lot of fun. It's supposed to be good weather. So, hope to see you guys out there. Have a good night, everyone.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.